Hey everyone, this is Amanda with Chase and Chip and Amanda. This video is going to be a short video to tell you about our pole barn build, our garage gym build. It took several years to get here. Next month will be 3 years since we started the process of trying to build this. Basically tells you all the ups and downs, mostly downs that we had with this process, but we now have our garage and we're so stoked. We couldn't be happier with this. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. We'll try to answer them the best we can. And if you're building a pole barn or a garage gym or whatever, good luck with that, and hopefully everything goes smoothly for you. Enjoy the video. So with the garage build, we had some trees cut down. I'm gonna show you a couple we had cut down so that the pole barn can have a place to go. This one was at the front of the house. He had a buddy right there and they fell down. There's Seth coming back from fishing. And then that one up there was gonna be right in the middle of the garage where the build is. Okay friends, so after 2.5 years, we finally have a tentative start date for our garage build, and that is the 20th of January, and today is the 6th of January. They came out today and checked the measurements, checked the ground, made sure everything was good. This has been a crazy process for us. We had massive amounts of problems with the HOA trying to get them on board to approve the build. We had a lady that doesn't even live here. She lives here part-time that was saying no to the build. So once we got past her and the HOA, that took us probably 1.5 years easy to get through that. Then our first builder walked away with our deposit of $7,000. And after talking to a couple lawyer friends, it wasn't really worth trying to go to court. And then we went to a commercial company, Delmarva Pole Buildings, and things have been moving right along. We got the city sewer put in, which took also like 9 months. And then Delmarva submitted to the county. The county rejected it a couple times. We had to redo the site, move it back 9 feet from the well. Then the county came out to look at it. They saw we had removed 3 trees. One was gonna be directly in the middle of the pole building, and then 2 were dead trees. And we learned that we had asked for permission to remove these trees. So we were fined, and we had to pay a fee, and we had to go buy 3 new trees and replant 3 new trees in our yard, and then go to the county in person and let the county know that we replanted the 3 trees. And then once we did that, they were able to sign off on our build. So if you plan on cutting trees down, you should check with your county and make sure you're allowed to cut those trees down so that you don't do what we did and go backwards in time. We come from Tennessee, and in Tennessee, if you want to cut a tree down, it's on your property, you cut the tree down. Apparently in Queen Anne's County, Howard County, Maryland, you don't do that. You got to get permission before you can cut a tree down. So anyway, past that, got the builder out here today and got everything sorted out, and our supplies should be delivered in, let's see, about 7 days, and then 7 days from that should start the build. I'm so excited. 2.5 years. I cannot wait. So this is day 1 of the build. You can see the framing is up all in one day. And then you can see this big muddy area in our yard. That is where the builders dug down to put the framing in the ground, and they hit our well. They damaged the well and drained the well out into the yard and continued to concrete the framing into the ground. So that's what that big muddy area is. All of our water in the front yard. We didn't have water for 83 days after that. So we had to have a whole entire new well put in. It was pretty annoying. But still, one day you can tell they did a lot of work in one day, and shocking. This is day 2. Day 2 of the build, they started putting up the vinyl siding. They put the insulation up. We have an entire roof on the building, and it now looks like a building. And I cannot tell you how excited I am that we finally have a freaking build. And the build is 30 feet wide, 40 feet deep, and 17 feet to the trusses. This is our fill dirt that was delivered from a local guy in Stevensville. They came out the next day and spread that out and got prepped to pour the concrete. Moving right along. Cannot make my life up, I swear to God. This is what we walked out to the morning of April 2nd. 60-foot tree fell in a storm the night before, right on the brand new build. We contacted a tree removal service, and it was going to be $2,000 to remove it. We did it ourselves. All in all, I would say it took us about 4 weeks to get the tree actually removed, just because our schedule is so busy and we had to attack it a little out of time. We did have a tree removal service come out and take that stump. It is now mid-April, and we finally have concrete being poured. The build was supposed to start January 20th. It started on February 13th, and we are now April 18th and just now getting to the concrete pour. 2 days after the concrete pour, the electricians that are a local company came out and installed our electricity, and they installed the connection in the ceiling for the big-ass fan. It did take them 2 days to get our electric done. But yay, we have electricity. This is the 3rd time moving all of this stuff.
Gotta lock the cats up in there.
Yep. At this point, we decided to go ahead and move all of our Rogue boxes into the garage just to get them out of the guest room. We ordered 10 rolls of matting. They were 300 pounds each roll, about 3,000 pounds for that delivery. And then shortly after that, we got our plywood, all 78 sheets. That is a lot of plywood. We chose to paint the plywood on the floor just because the walls are so high and it would be easier to do on the floor than up on scaffolding. This is another trip to Lowe's to get 2x4s for the framing. Ta-da! We have garage doors. Yay! It is starting to look like a real garage. Can't leave toys at our house. Next on the to-do list was to lay the flooring down. We had 10 rolls of matting. It was pretty easy to lay out the flooring. We bought some mat grippers to move it around, which helped a ton. Like I said earlier, these weighed about 300 pounds each. This is probably not the safest way to do this, putting a ladder on top of scaffolding, but this is the only way that we could figure out how to construct the framing up high, since the ceiling is to 17 feet and the scaffolding only goes to like 6 feet or 7 feet, I'm not sure. But anyway, Chip would just stand, hang out on the framing, and then I would move the stuff around and he would basically climb from ladder to ladder. Now, that framing you see in the center up there was additional framing that Chip put in because that's where the rig is going, and that's needed in order to hold the rig to the wall because that's the heaviest item we have, and we'll be swinging around on it. After that, we started the installation of the plywood on the walls so that the walls would be completely covered in plywood. That was our method instead of drywall, just because drywall breaks a little easier and plywood is sturdier for us hanging barbells on the wall, the rig on the wall, and anything else that we just might want it to be heavier and sturdier than just regular drywall. Now that the walls are up, we decided to go ahead and start putting the rig together. We put the rig together in pieces on the floor and then tried to mount the rig one piece at a time to the wall and then put the rig together. We have 3 speel bars that are 6-foot long bars, easier for me to do bar muscle ups on, and chest to bar pull ups, things like that. I like the grip better on those. And in order to find the height, we had me just lay on the floor and we checked my height from the bottom of the rig to where we thought the pull-up bars would go. One of them is a perfect height, one is way too high, and one is high enough basically for Chip to use. All in all, it works out okay for us in the end. We measured the wall, basically came to where the center of the wall is in order to know where the center of the rig needed to go, and at which point we raised the rig up, check the placing on the wall in order for the rig to be mounted to the wall. What you won't see in this video is the fact that the rig was not lined up exactly with the extra framing that Chip had mounted to the wall. It was off by about 6 inches. So we had to take all of the plywood back down and he had to reframe the wall and shift it over 6 inches to the left. Once he reframed the wall, then we rehung up all of the plywood again, and then after that we were able to go ahead and mount the rig to the wall. It was a very long, tedious process. Anything worth doing once, I guess, is worth doing twice. That is the method that we adopted for this. Savannah was a huge help in this. I'm very short and trying to reach the rig was not easy. And ta-da, we have a rig mounted to the wall, finally.
Nice.
Yay.
You happy?
Yes, we have a rig. Hey CJ, I touched it. With one hand. Oh, you can reach. Yeah. Today we got the rest of the rig put together. We hung up the 2 wall ball targets, the 2 shrimp trawlers, and the 2 sets of rings. Chip then went and got some concrete screws and he bolted the rig to the floor with concrete screws. That allows me to be able to do ring muscle ups, things like that, without the rig moving around and shifting. We have moved all the ergs to the side and hung up another whole entire side of plywood on the wall. After this, I decided to move the runner into the gym. This was a pretty big challenge. I ended up having to use some boards, like ramps, and slowly slide it up. I had a couple lips to move it over, so it was left, right, till I got it up on those boards. But once I got it up on those boards, it was actually pretty easy. And then once I got it up over that little lip right there, it was smooth sailing, easy peasy. All right, everyone, so for the sake of this video, we're considering the garage done. We still have a few things to do, add in some shelving. We have some stuff in the little garage that still needs to come over, but I'm gonna show you what we have and calling it done. Here, the reverse hyper will eventually go here. GHD, all of the ergs, rowers, ski ergs, and the bikes, an extra set of mats, plates. Those are my jump boxes and my jerk blocks and my handstand push-up mat, some extra barbells, the rig, shrimp trawler balls, 2 wobble targets, shrimp trawler bar, 2 sets of rings. Yep, got our handy dandy little cart for chalk, low rings, a bench, spotter bars. This is just the scaffolding, and Chip was really smart with this for right now because we don't really have anywhere to store the dumbbells until we get something. So he just took the scaffolding, lowered it down, and put the dumbbells on there. The worm and everything still has to come in over here, one of the little fans. We're gonna be getting rid of that rack. That's the portable squat rack with the pull-up bar. We just brought it in here to get it out of the other garage. Chip's cable machine, another set of bar racks, leg extension, hamstring curl, leg press machine, lat pull down, and then the reverse hyper, which will eventually go over here. So let's zoom out a little bit if I can and show you what it looks like all the way around. 1,200 square feet. And so, I don't know, 17 feet to the trusses. There's the rope on a pulley system. Yep, that's it. We are done.